You are standing at the threshold of a new dawn, a moment filled with potential and divine promise. Every sigh you breathed, every path you tread, was not a random collection of experiences woven to bring you to this pivotal point. If you are hearing these words today, know it is not by chance. The grace of the divine has orchestrated your journey to lead you here. Gurbani extract. In the Amrit Vaylaa, the ambrosial hours before dawn, chant the true name and contemplate his glorious greatness. Guru Granth, Sahib Ji Ang 2. Imagine the early hours before dawn, a time when the world is draped in stillness, when the air carries a certain serenity and softness that cannot be found in any other part of the day. This is Amrit Vaylaa, the divine window of spiritual awakening. It is the time before the world's demands begin to pull at our attention, when our souls are most aligned with the vibrations of the cosmos. In this sacred time, when the world still sleeps, the spirit has the clearest channel to the divine. This is an opportunity to still the mind, to center the heart, and to align with the source. The practice of chanting the Naam, the true name, Satnam, during these early hours is not just tradition, it's transformative. When the soul rises before the body stirs, something within us awakens, something ancient, something divine. We live in a time where distractions are not just common, they are constant. From the moment we open our eyes, notifications, obligations, noise and demands flood our awareness. The soul, already wearied by the trials of the previous day, hardly has a moment to breathe before being thrust into chaos again. But in the silence of the early hours, there is a sanctuary. It's a portal to clarity, to peace, to inner strength. When you dedicate those early hours to contemplation, to Naam Simran, to sitting in gratitude and presence, you are not simply engaging in ritual. You are reprogramming the frequency of your day. This then becomes the lens through which you see the world. Calmer, softer, clearer. This isn't about being perfect. It's about starting where you are. Whether it's 5 minutes or 50, the sacred practice begins with a single decision: to remember the Creator's greatness, to remember your place within the divine orchestration of life, to remember that your soul was never meant to be lost in the noise, but rooted in the Naam and remembrance. When we remember the Creator at the start of our day, we're more anchored in truth, we're less reactive, more compassionate. We start to move from a place of centered power rather than chaotic emotion. We make decisions from stillness, not fear. As the Gurbani reminds us, contemplate His glorious greatness. This is not only a meditation on the divine's presence, it is a reminder of what is possible, that even in darkness there is light, that beneath confusion there is clarity, that beyond all striving there is surrender. You begin to realize that everything you need is already within you, waiting to be uncovered in the stillness of the early morning. Let this not be just a beautiful idea, but an actual practice. Try waking up just a little earlier tomorrow. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, and whisper the Naam. Sit in gratitude, or simply follow your breath, slowly breathing in and slowly breathing out. Let your heart speak to the One. Let your mind settle. Let your soul remember. You don't need a script. You don't need the right words, just the willingness to show up. That in itself is devotion. This sacred routine can become the most transformative part of your day. The more consistent you are, the more powerful it becomes. And as days turn into weeks and weeks into months, something begins to shift. You become less easily shaken, You become more rooted in love. You start to radiate the peace that so many around you are desperately seeking. It also affects how we relate to others. When we nourish our spirit in the early morning, we engage with our family, our co-workers, our friends with more patience. We speak less from ego and more from presence. Our relationships deepen, not because we force them to, but because we show up as our whole selves. For parents, this becomes a model for children, not just something taught, but something lived. The sight of a mother or father sitting quietly, absorbed in Simran, leaves an imprint far greater than any lesson. It teaches the next generation that strength comes from surrender, that power lies in peace, and that wisdom begins in stillness. In work and ambition too, this practice makes us better. Whatever your path, business, art, service, leadership, grounding in the divine every morning sets the tone for clarity in vision and integrity in action. You begin to see that the greatest success is not in reaching goals quickly, but in walking the path with grace, ethics, and purpose. If you feel disconnected, if you feel burnt out or directionless, this is the anchor. You don't have to change your entire life overnight. Just start with the morning. Let it become your sacred space. In time, everything else aligns. Spiritual discipline is not always about major breakthroughs. Often, it's about showing up in the quiet moments, about choosing presence when the mind wants distraction. That is where transformation happens, not in flashes of inspiration, but in daily commitment. And when storms do come, and they will, you will not be shaken in the same way, because within you will be a calm that the world did not give you, and thus cannot take away. That's the gift of the Guru's wisdom. That's the promise of this practice. A peace that surpasses understanding, a strength that arises from surrender, a clarity that cuts through confusion. Let this be your invitation today, not to do more, but to return to the quiet, to return to the Naam, to return to your center. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to feel perfect. You just need to begin. And as you do, let the Guru's words be your guide. Let those words live in your bones. Let them rise with the sun. Let them echo through your being. Because in those sacred hours, the divine is waiting, not somewhere far, but within you. You are not alone. You never were. If this message spoke to your soul, if you feel the calling to reconnect with your truth, subscribe and walk this path with us. There is more light ahead. There is deeper peace within. All you have to do is remember,